Look beyond the frame. When I first started, I naturally just did the typical point and shoot. You know, you look in front of you and you see what you see, and you get lovely photos. Nothing wrong with what I did. You know, I got experience, and my portfolio went up quick, and I got brilliant photos, hence why I then went full time. Quickly realised after researching, because I research a lot of candid street photographers, photojournalists, and their skill of looking beyond the frame. So when I say looking beyond the frame, it's quite simple really. If you're in a room at a wedding, just try and picture you're at a wedding, because most people viewing these videos, I'd imagine, are wedding photographers. You're at the speeches. Let's say ceremony. Ceremony is quite a good one to look at. You naturally look at the bride and groom are right in front of you, or at the front of them, so you're the first thing that you see, and you're naturally just watching them the whole time, aren't you? You know, I was guilty of it at the beginning. Maybe worry as well that you don't want to miss anything, which again, I completely understand. Why would you want to miss a moment between the most two important people of the day? If you look beyond the frame, there's other stories going on, a lot of stories, and you can frame that story within a story. So you could have a moment of the bride and groom having a lovely moment together. That's a story in itself. If you're using the right focal length for storytelling, so a lot, you know, most of my wedding photos are with 35mm, or it'll be with an 85mm if I'm standing a lot further back, i.e. the ceremony, because I'm not allowed to be close like I would like to be. You can then see other stories going on. Mums, nans, crying, smiling, things that are going through their head that we don't know, but we can show them photos as storytellers, as observers of what was going on, and they know when they look at that photo what they were thinking. I don't need to know. They're the most important people. I want them to look at them photos and feel everything that they were feeling at that moment in time. The bride and groom won't see these moments happening behind them, so we're there to show them that. I mean, what a gift that we, you know, as a wedding photographer, we're there to show these people images that no one else has captured. You've got 100 people in a room. Video we can talk about separately. My absolute hate for people getting their camera phones out. Live the moment through your eyes. Stop bloody doing that. Rant over. I'll do another video about that. But even if they are doing that, they're only seeing the back of everyone's heads and then the side of the bride and groom. We, as a photographer and the registrar or the vicar, we're the only people who are seeing the reactions of everyone, and the bride and groom's reaction and other people. What a privilege it is to capture that moment, only if we look beyond the frame. If we just do the obvious all the time, we're not going to capture them, and it's gone. The moment's gone. When you're at a wedding season's about to start for a lot of people. Depending when I post this video, I'm doing batches of videos, so I might post this during wedding season or after. But if you don't do it, try and do it a little bit more. And if you're worried about missing moments, and practice, go out and, you know, when you're with your family, you don't need to be a street photographer. Just when you're with your family, when you're out, you know, when you're going for a walk with them, you naturally would just be pointing and shooting at your family, your wife or your husband, with your children or your dogs, which I completely understand. You need them photos still, but I'm not saying don't, you know, focus on them. You still need them safe shots. That's what I like to call them, safe shots. But after you've got the safe shot, like at a wedding, look beyond the frame. And there's always moments happening that no one sees. Everyone at a wedding looks at the obvious, don't they? Bride and groom first kiss, bride and groom first dance, person giving the speech, the person who the speech is about. That's all they look at. They don't look at anything else going on. They're straight on to that person. Well, what a skill it is, and a privilege and an honour that if we use that to our advantage of looking beyond the frame, we can find other stories going on and tell a story that no one else even observed. And we get to show them that as a journalist, as a photojournalist, of this was happening. And then people that are looking at photo, I might never see these people again, probably won't ever see them again, but they know what they were thinking moment. And what a lovely feeling for them to think that photographer has captured the most beautiful moment of me thinking about my little girl when she was born. You know, do you know what I mean? It's a great gift. You know, it's brilliant. Beyond the obvious, you know, your safe shots at a wedding, couple at the front having their moment, first dance, another obvious moment of the day. The couples cuddling people after they've got married. Get that safe shot, and then look around. Look beyond that frame and frame the couple still. As a storyteller, you can storytell. You can be close and observe and listen and have a subject really close to you, and then look beyond that frame using the rule of thirds and point them, you know, using the rule of thirds, connecting story within a story. You can even sometimes connect a story within a story within a story. And it's something I'm learning out all the time. I'm not perfect. I'm trying to be. Yeah, do that when you're at weddings, and it's more fun. I promise you now, if you're going to a wedding just doing what every photographer does, you're going to get jobs still, and your photos will be lovely. You're not going to stand out from the crowd. Photos are going to look like everyone else's photos on Instagram when people scroll. Same photos over and over again. Fortunately, it does come across as a bit boring. You want to be original. Look beyond the frame. Brilliant technique to use at a wedding. It's not a special skill. It's not like I'm trying to say about using a fancy flash setting. It's just using your eyes. That's all it is. And that's why I always say to people, these are more important than a high spec camera, like a $5,000 Sony camera that everyone's jumping on the bandwagon with. That's more important still. So don't rely on tech, rely on what you can see, and you'll get amazing photos, you know, that stand out from an oversaturated business. Thank you very much. Please subscribe. See you soon. See you later.